Hello friends, my name is Shahzaib and you're watching Mr. Shahzaib YouTube channel. Today, we'll explore one of the most powerful and heartbreaking chapters in history, the partition of India and Pakistan. Stay with me till the end because every minute tells the story of courage and sacrifice. The year was 1947, a moment that would change millions of lives forever. Trains filled with families, divided hearts, and endless tears. The land that once breathed as one was about to split in two. This is the story of pain, power, and the birth of Pakistan.
It will be noticed.
When the British East India Company tightened its grip on India, the subcontinent's rich civilization met the iron hand of foreign rule. Culture thrived under pressure, but people began to feel the heavy weight of control on their daily lives. After the 1857 War of Independence, the British Crown took full control of India. The Queen promised peace and progress, but in reality, poverty and inequality spread deeper than ever before. Railways, telegraphs, and English education were introduced not to empower Indians, but to strengthen colonial rule. Every track in classrooms served the empire's interests first. Despite suppression, Indians began to awaken. Intellectuals, poets, and reformers started speaking about freedom and dignity. A new fire was lit, the fire of independence, but the British rulers knew how to keep control by dividing people. Divide and rule became their most powerful weapon, turning neighbors into rivals. Hindu and Muslim unity, once strong during the 1857 uprising, slowly began to fade. British administrators encouraged separate identities through politics, education, and jobs. Muslims feared losing their influence after centuries of power. Hindus sought a new dawn of self-rule. The dreams were noble, but the paths began to differ. In 1906, Muslim leaders gathered in Dhaka and formed the All India Muslim League to protect Muslim rights and ensure their voice in future India. The Congress continued to demand independence for all, but the League began to ask what will be the place of Muslims in free India. By the end of the 1930s, India was politically alive but emotionally divided. The stage was set for a man who would give voice to millions, Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, a brilliant lawyer educated in London, began his political career as a strong supporter of Hindu-Muslim unity. He was once called the ambassador of unity for his efforts to bring both communities together under one vision of freedom. But as years passed, Jinnah saw how communal politics and British manipulation were dividing India. The Congress, now dominated by Hindu leaders, began ignoring Muslim concerns, and Jinnah slowly lost faith in joint governance. In 1928, when the Nehru Report failed to protect Muslim rights, Jinnah presented his famous 14 points, demanding fair political representation, provincial autonomy, and safeguards for Muslim identity in a united India. The differences grew sharper. Congress leaders like Gandhi and Nehru envisioned a secular democracy, while Jinnah insisted that Muslims were a separate nation with their own culture, laws, and destiny. By the 1930s, British elections in India showed Muslim representation was weak. The 1937 provincial elections became a turning point. The Congress refused coalition governments with the Muslim League, deepening mistrust forever. Jinnah, once disheartened, returned with renewed strength. His speeches became fiery yet precise. He began transforming the Muslim League into a disciplined, powerful movement demanding a separate homeland.
I thank His Majesty, the King, on behalf of the Pakistan Constituent Assembly and myself.
The idea of Pakistan slowly took shape, first as a dream, then as a demand. Jinnah argued that Hindus and Muslims were two nations with separate religions, values, and ways of life. On March 23, 1940, in Lahore, Jinnah and the Muslim League passed the historic Pakistan Resolution, demanding independent states for Muslims in the northwestern and eastern regions of India. The crowd that day roared with hope. People believed Pakistan was not just land. It was a promise of freedom, equality, and identity. a vision that would soon test their strength and faith. From that moment, history began to move faster. The British were weakening, World War II was changing the world, and India's fate was heading toward an irreversible decision: partition. As the 1940s began, India was changing fast. British power was weakening after World War II, and freedom was no longer a dream. It was a demand echoing through every city, village, and heart. Mahatma Gandhi, the man of peace and simplicity, led millions through nonviolence. His Quit India movement of 1940 shook the empire, but it also deepened the divide between Congress and the Muslim League. Gandhi dreamed of a united India where Hindus and Muslims lived as one family. But Jinnah believed such unity was impossible. One majority would always dominate the other. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, a modern thinker, supported democracy and socialism. He believed India's strength lay in unity, but his vision often clashed with Jinnah's demand for separate nationhood. As negotiations continued, the British tried to balance both sides but failed. Every proposal, from the cabinet mission to the Simla Conference, ended in disagreement and disappointment. By 1946, tensions exploded. Communal riots in Calcutta, Bihar, and Noakhali turned streets red. The dream of unity drowned in cries of hatred and revenge. Jinnah warned that peace could only come with partition. "We are two nations," he declared, "and we cannot live together as one." His words became the voice of millions of fearful hearts. The British realized their empire was ending. Lord Mountbatten, the last viceroy, was sent to transfer power peacefully, but time was short and emotions were uncontrollable. After years of negotiation, Mountbatten announced on June 3, 1947, India would be divided. Two nations would be born: India and Pakistan. The dream had become real, but at a tragic cost. Finally, in 1947, the decision to partition India was made. India was divided into three parts: East Pakistan, West Pakistan, and India. East Pakistan later became Bangladesh. Celebrations and sorrow filled the land. Some shouted freedom, while others wept for their lost homes. History was being written in tears and blood, the dawn of independence and the dusk of unity. August 14, 1947, midnight. Pakistan was born. Millions celebrated under the crescent and star. But behind the joy, countless hearts trembled with uncertainty, fear, and loss. Freedom had arrived, but not without a storm. The announcement of partition triggered the largest migration in human history. Around 15 million people left their homes, Hindus moving to India, Muslims moving to Pakistan, carrying whatever they could on their backs. Trains once used for trade and travel now carried pain and death. Many never reached their destination. Entire families vanished, leaving only silence and stories behind. In Punjab, Bengal, and Delhi, chaos erupted. Villages burned, women and children ran for safety, and rivers of blood flowed through the streets that once echoed with laughter. Refugee camps rose overnight. Thousands gathered under the open sky, without food or water. Yet even in that pain, they carried hope, the hope of starting again in their new homeland. Journalists and photographers captured the tragedy, faces of fear, courage, and resilience. The images would later remind the world of what independence truly cost. Stories spread of people helping strangers, sharing food, and saving lives, humanity shining in the darkest hour. Amid horror, kindness still survived. For every train that reached safely, another never made it. Massacres became daily news. But even through tears, people whispered, "Pakistan Zindabad," their faith stronger than fear. Women played silent yet heroic roles, protecting families, crossing borders with strength no one imagined. Their sacrifices, though untold, became the backbone of survival. By the end of 1947, millions were uprooted, thousands dead, but a new nation had risen from the ashes. Pakistan, born in sacrifice, faith, and the unbreakable spirit of its people. As the sun rose on August 15, 1947, a new chapter began. Pakistan stood free, an independent nation carved out by sacrifice. Crowds gathered to witness a dream finally turned into reality. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founder, addressed the nation as its first governor-general. His words echoed hope, unity, and faith, the three pillars upon which Pakistan would rise. Karachi became the first capital, a city bustling with dreams and challenges. It welcomed waves of refugees, transforming overnight into the heart of a new beginning. The new government faced impossible odds, no offices, no currency, and few trained officials. Yet, amid chaos, the people built a nation with courage and unity. Jinnah worked tirelessly despite illness. He believed that discipline, faith, and unity could heal the wounds of partition and lead Pakistan toward prosperity. Meanwhile, the refugees struggled to rebuild their lives. Camps turned into neighborhoods, tents into homes, and hope slowly returned to faces marked by pain. Despite limited resources, schools, hospitals, and offices began to open. A spirit of service spread among citizens, driven by love for their new homeland. Jinnah dreamed of a modern, democratic, and inclusive Pakistan. He wanted a state where all citizens, regardless of religion, would live in peace and equality. But challenges grew, political divisions, administrative chaos, and refugee crises tested the nation's strength. Still, Pakistan refused to fall. Its people stood united. Through dust and difficulty, a new identity took shape, proud, resilient, and hopeful. The flag that once symbolized a dream now represented a nation reborn from sacrifice. As Pakistan began to stabilize, Quaid-e-Azam's health weakened. Years of struggle had taken their toll, but his determination never faded. He continued to serve till his last breath. In his final speeches, Jinnah reminded the nation of its purpose, to remain united, to work hard, and to keep faith as the guiding light. He warned against corruption, intolerance, and division, the very forces that could destroy the foundation of the young nation. By September 1948, his illness worsened. The father of the nation was moved to Karachi, where he would spend his final hours surrounded by silence and prayer. On September 11, 1948, Pakistan lost its greatest leader. The nation mourned deeply, streets fell silent, hearts heavy with grief and gratitude. Millions wept, not just for a leader, but for the man who gave them identity and dignity. His vision had created a home for the forgotten. Quaid's message still echoes through time with faith, discipline, and selfless devotion to duty. There is nothing worthwhile that you cannot achieve. His dream was not just independence, it was progress, education, equality, and justice for every Pakistani, no matter who they were. Today, his vision lives on in the hearts of millions, every Pakistani striving to fulfill the promise made in 1947. Pakistan was born through sacrifice and sustained through unity. Its story is not just history, it's a reminder of faith, struggle, and the power of dreams. Hope you enjoyed this video, my friends. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Mr. Shahzeb's YouTube channel, Long Live Pakistan _Pakistan Zindabad.